are you getting the most out of your texture or photo reference library? And I'm inclined to say you're probably not, because I know for me, it's been a missed opportunity. It's really easy to acquire lots and lots of photos. Recently, I've been getting these awesome, cheap photo libraries on Gumroad. And the best ones actually are already organized into folders. So here we can look at these folders that have a name, which is good. You go inside the folder, and then each of the photos is named at least enough. As in, it's named that it's part of a collection, not IMG 00856. So at a bare minimum, you can get more out of your texture library or your reference library if you just put them into folders that have names. That's like the bare minimum. But I think for a lot of artists, this is sort of where your organization ends. The thing is, this search bar here on Windows is extremely useful and often overlooked because the user interface is sort of a mess. So I'm looking here at a bunch of different folders, all of which are filled with JPEG images. One amazing feature that you can do in the search bar is just to search for a file type. So here I'll type in JPG. And what I see in the results are all of the JPEG files from all of those folders. It's something like 8,500 images. This is really useful because this means at a glance I can see all of what I have, even though they are actually shared in individual separate folders. If I close the search results, you can see these are all the folders that are being referenced. That alone can be a really big deal. Now this one might be a little more obvious. You can also search for a single word that's contained in, any of the file names within any of those folders. This is also useful. I think where it stops being obvious is the next tool, which is image tags. And I'm sure you're familiar with the idea of tags. These are sort of attributes that you can use to sort things in multiple different ways. So let's take a look at some tags that I've applied. The way you search for them is you do tag, : and I'll say overcast, because that's one I made recently. Now here we can see a number of files that are all similar in one way, which is that I have determined that they are all overcast images. They happen to live in different folders. But when I'm making a painting, I might not necessarily just want pictures of mountains. I might want pictures of a variety of things that are all overcast because I want my painting to be in an overcast setting. Well, this is very, very useful as long as it's relatively easy to apply tags. Well, luckily, applying tags can be done to multiple images at once. So to do that, I'll select a few photos. Here's a couple that are overcast. I make sure in the View panel that I have the Details pane visible. So I have multiple photos selected, details are visible, and then over here on the top right, there's just a line that says tags. So I'm going to add a tag, and I'm going to say overcast, which is one I already have. Hit enter, and now it has applied that overcast tag to the new photos. This means that whenever I search for the tag overcast, these will be included with the rest of the collection. Doesn't matter where they live in the folder structure, they are now also overcast. The wonderful thing is that any given photo can have 5 or 6 tags. And this makes your photo archive so much more useful. Now it becomes much more like Google image search, where you're not just searching by the file name, but you're searching by attributes about the image. Does this take some time? Yes. I've decided that I'm just going to limit myself to a handful of very useful tags, things that apply to the type of work I do. I'm not going to apply tags to every photo I do, but whenever I get a bunch of new reference photos from Gumroad or elsewhere, it's worth spending a couple hours to just apply those generic tags that I already have in my library so that when I need an overcast photo or a picture of a cliff or maybe a sunset, I don't have to think about it. Now, I don't know if this makes sense for your workflow, but my guess is some version of it does. So at a bare minimum, explore how the feature works, try it in Windows, but I recommend making some tags for yourself. I think it's going to make your library much more useful. Thanks for coming to the site, guys.